A top 3 event in the entire history of World of Warcraft just happened. And no, this is not YouTube clickbait brain rot. I actually mean it. Depending on what Blizzard does next, this could be either the biggest missed opportunity they've ever fumbled, or the single biggest thing to ever happen to World of Warcraft. Because Classic Plus, if done right, has that level of potential. We have seen this movie before. Back in 2016, Blizzard shut down Nostalrius, the biggest vanilla private server on the planet. The backlash was insane.
Hi Mike, sup? As you may have heard, Nostalrius, the fan server you shut down, has a petition calling for legacy servers for World of Warcraft. I've got it right here. Over 230,000 signatures and thousands of comments, nearly 10,000 pages in all. I've printed it all out because I thought it might be more tangible this way to see in physical form. I also have here a list of top Twitch streamers who have pledged their support to legacy servers and promise to start streaming WoW again if they return. They have a combined...
And a few years later, Classic WoW was a reality. That moment changed World of Warcraft forever. Well, something just as big, maybe even bigger, just happened again. And people do not realize just how big it is. The Classic Plus project website has been created by Jordi. And I'm going to be real, if Classic Plus ever turns out to be good, this thing deserves a lot of the credit, because for the first time, someone actually tackled the biggest problem Classic Plus has. And it's not the content, or the balance, or the nostalgia, it's that Blizzard fundamentally does not understand what Classic Plus even is. Partly because yes, they are incompetent, but also because Classic Plus itself is way too weird. Is this abstract idea that everyone wants and everyone has, but nobody can clearly define it, and Blizzard has historically been terrible at reading the room. This is a site packed with surveys that ask you about almost every imaginable part of the game, and what you would like done with it in the future. Is it perfect? No. Sometimes the answers don't fully line up with how you actually feel. Like, you might think, yeah, kind of, but not like that. But honestly, that's fine, because even with those flaws, this is still insane. Over time, this could turn into something better than what even old school RuneScape has. In OSRS, the community votes on basically everything. If more than half the players say yes, it goes in. If not, it doesn't. Simple, clean, democratic. And that system is okay, but it's not perfect, and here's why. First of all, you always know what's coming. There is no mystery, there is no sense of discovery, no surprises. You're literally asked up front, do you want this exact thing added to the game? Once it passes, that's it. You already know how it works before ever touching it. On top of that, it puts all decision-making power in the hands of the players, and that's very stupid. If you ask me. Listening to player feedback is an extremely good idea. Basing everything on player votes is not, especially if you are Blizzard, a company that doesn't really understand their own games. Players don't see the full picture. They don't understand all the interconnected systems, all the long-term consequences, the technical limitations, or the design trade-offs. And they are not supposed to. That's why game designers, artists, and programmers exist. That's literally their job. They do this 8 hours a day for money. And yes, this might be a hard pill to swallow, but it's true. Just because you, or even most of the players, want something, that doesn't mean it's actually good for the game. We've seen how badly that can go in the past. Good designers know when to listen to feedback and when not to. Or at least they should, because that's their job. This site basically removes all those negatives. The surveys aren't meant to tell Blizzard exactly what players want Classic Plus to be. They're meant to show patterns, trends, the average mental image of Classic Plus in the heads of Classic WoW players. And that distinction matters a lot. This isn't a design by committee machine. It's a tool, a very powerful one, but nothing more. And that's exactly why it works. It gives you direct signals where they matter. For example, you can instantly see things like whether most Druid players actually like the fact that the manual crowd pummeler is still best in slot all the way to Naxxramas, and if they like running Nomergan thousands of times. Or if they've just been coping with it for the past 20 years. But more importantly, you can zoom out and see how players feel about the class as a whole. What do druid players enjoy, what they tolerate, and what they actively hate about their class. You're never going to please everyone, that's impossible. The real challenge is pleasing as many people as possible while still doing your actual job as a developer, which is protecting the spirit of the game even when players ask for things that would quietly destroy it. And that's the key part. Sometimes the correct answer is still no, even if the players ask for it. This site solves half of that problem. It tells you what the community feels without handing over the steering wheel. It's the perfect tool to get to know your player base and use that knowledge to do your job and create the best game for them. But the surveys aren't everything. They're incredible, genuinely amazing, but they're not even my favorite part of the site. If you go and click on content, you're hit with 3 categories: the player, the world, and the systems. And from there, through an insanely well designed UI, you can browse raw ideas from fans of the game. What they want added, what they want changed, or even deleted from the game. No guardrails, no corporate framing, just ideas from fans. Races, classes, dungeons, new zones, itemization, lore, systems, absolutely everything. And the best part, you can upvote and downvote all of it. So at any moment, you can instantly see which ideas actually resonate with the community and which ones die on contact. That is absurdly valuable. This is pure gold for Blizzard. I've said this before, Blizzard is one of the luckiest companies in gaming history. Not because they're competent, but because their fans are. Despite Blizzard constantly tripping over itself, the community loves these games so much that they just hand Blizzard solutions for free. And that luck train isn't slowing down. If anything, it seems to be getting faster. This is insane. This is genuinely incredible. As a game developer, you could not ask for more. I've watched a ton of Tim Kane's videos on YouTube, the creator of Fallout, and many other cool games. And one thing he repeats a lot is how hard is it to know whether an idea is actually good. You can be educated about it, experienced, thoughtful, but at the end of the day, you don't really know until the game is out in the wild. This doesn't magically solve that problem. Nothing does. But being able to study thousands of community ideas and immediately see which ones people gravitate towards, that gets you way closer than flying blind. And here's the real big thing. If this site really pops off, and I genuinely hope it does, then Blizzard has zero excuses. None. If they have access to this level of feedback, insight, and free ideation, and still manage to screw up Classic Plus, they deserve to be studied, not criticized. Studied. Scientists should observe them in awe, documenting the absolute limits of human arrogance and incompetence. And that's why I'm actually hopeful. Like most people, I have no faith left in the soulless greed machine that is Blizzard. But even so, I don't believe they're that stupid. The only real obstacle left is their arrogance, their refusal to listen. But to be fair, that kind of attitude kind of disappeared after the absolute disaster that was Shadowlands. That era of Blizzard pretending they know better than everyone else is mostly dead. This site didn't turn me into a believer, but it did move me from pessimistic about Classic Plus to carefully optimistic. And it also reminded me of how cool and creative people can be. And honestly, this motivated me a lot. It made me want to finally take all my Classic Plus dungeon raid, new zones ideas and actually make videos about them. I tried in the past, but I always felt bad, felt held back, like the editing wasn't good enough, because most of the things I was talking about aren't actually real. I didn't have footage to show about them. No footage that could match what I was talking about. Or maybe I thought that no one even watches this kind of content on YouTube. But they don't watch it because it doesn't exist. Seeing all these other people who all just like to sit down, nerd out and be creative about something they love really pushed me. So screw it. If I talk about a new idea I came up with, I'll do my best to have some good footage on the screen, but if there is nothing I could show to you that is linked to what I'm talking about, I will just put footage of me scrolling to the latest Wowhead news like 99% of classic WoW YouTubers do. Or better yet, fuck it, let the screen be blank. Who cares? I just want to send these ideas out into the world. So if you care about that, consider subscribing, and after that I'll post them on the site as well, so all of you other passionate nerds out there can tell me how you feel about them. And I'm honestly embarrassed to say I never heard of Jordi before, but I know now. I think you did an amazing job, and I don't think the community even realizes yet how important this is. And as a classic WoW fan, thank you. Anyway, let me know how you feel about it in the comments down below, and stay tuned. Till next time, peace.